Let's say you have some data that's getting pushed into Braze automatically, say from a webhook. In our case, it was a ticketing company, but the data is coming in a format that doesn't match Braze requirements for JSON and whatever else is coming in. Well, you're going to hear all the bros say, you're going to need middleware, bro.
Lambda.
Do you even middleware, bro?
Lambda.
But I'm here to show you there's actually a simpler way to do this inside Braze that requires very little engineering support. So here I am in Braze, and you're going to come down to data settings, data transformation, because we're going to transform some data. And in the top right, you're going to click create transformation. Now you need to give that a name. We're going to call this maybe MVP tickets, because in my case, I'm going to pretend that I'm a ticket company. I'm going to go from scratch. There is lots of options in there, but I need scratch for this case because it's not a standard thing that would be in Braze. And I'm going to do it to the post track users API because I want to convert it into a purchase. And then I'm going to come down the bottom right and click create transformation. Now, when you go in here, it's going to have down the right side is going to be what you're converting it to inside Braze, and they give you some boilerplate template here already, so this is great. It's half done. And then on the left side is the webhook URL. So what makes this super cool is whatever comes into this URL, no matter where it's pushed from, Braze pulls it in and automatically renames it payload. So you don't have to fetch any of this data, you don't have to do anything. It's coming into Braze and it's called payload, which is super cool. Now, you have to put this URL into whatever your company is. In my case, it was a ticketing company. For the sake of today, I'm just going to make a fake one to show you how this works. So first things first, you're probably wondering, how do I get the data in here to know what to do? I'm going to use my mate Bruno. Look at him. Oh, he's so cute, little doggy. He's so cute. And I made an example use case here for a ticketing company. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this data as if it's a webhook coming to Braze. And then if you refresh this page, it will actually show you the last thing that Braze picked up being sent to that webhook. For some reason, it always takes you back to the menu, but you can come back in there. It'll say inactive. I go back in, and it will show you the last data that it believes was received by that URL. And if you want that URL, it's just in the drop down here. What's really cool about this though, is now I can see what's coming in and map it to what I want in Braze. Now in my case, I want to create a purchase. So I don't need anything under events. This is where you would add events, and I don't need anything under attributes. So you can take everything from the comma all the way up to attributes and delete that in my case. Now, the first thing you need is going to be an external ID. So over here, I can look down this list and see what's most likely to be an external ID. And I see customer ID equals MVP test. So where it says external ID, I put payload and I leave the payload there and I just type in customer ID. And now Braze knows to map this field to external ID. And that's a great way for it to find the right user. And I can go update existing only, so it will only update existing files, but you can put that as false to create new ones. Product ID, what I want the product to be, probably maybe the name of the ticket. The event is the best concert ever. So I'm going to make this payload event name and then payload currency. Now mine doesn't pass in a currency. So what I'm going to do by default is I'm going to write AUD because I know that's what Braze accepts as currency code. The price, I can see the purchase price is 100 down here. So change payload to purchase price. The quantity I know is the number of seats. So payload num seats. But this is all coming in as purchase properties now. The time is the timestamp, which I'm going to put, I don't have the timestamp. I'll just leave that as. And I'm going to get rid of this last one because I don't need any properties on this. So now we have a purchase made from this coming in like this. And I can actually show you this works because if I go to audience and open my user now for you, and if you look down this bottom corner, there's actually no purchases made on that user yet. So now that I've mapped this data to Braze, I can say that I want to activate this. I'm going to save this. Just double checking. Well, transformation could not be validated. So if it ever says that, you can come down this bottom corner and you can look and go, transformation code compiles, output isn't valid, valid must be attributes, events, purchase field. I've obviously missed something there. Time must be ISO timestamp. Okay, I'm going to make the time event start time just so it matches up to a timestamp. Event start time. And then if you do validate again, success, validated. And once you've typed everything in, you validate that, click save again. I can activate that. and now it's running. If you remember, my user has no purchases, but this data wouldn't get into Braze. So I go back to my mate Bruno. We send this. You can even check this too. If you go back to transformations and refresh this page, you'll see it'll tell you how many incoming requests and how many deliveries there are. There's one incoming request and one delivery. And then if I go back to my user who had no purchases, so remember I had nothing, and then boom, lifetime revenue, last purchase made today, total number of purchases 1, best concert ever 1 today. All that data went in there, matched up to my user. But there you go. And that is how you transform data inside Braze, and you can do that basically for any data that's coming in. So that's pretty easy. So you don't need all that middleware to make this happen. Lambda! You can just do it right in here, and you probably don't even need tech support. If you want to know any more about this, just hit me up in the comments and I'll be able to chat through it, or get in my DMs on LinkedIn.